In this video, we're going to be talking about dividing by tens, hundreds, and thousands. When we multiplied by tens, hundreds, and thousands, we just added zeros to the end of the number, or we moved places left in the place value chart. So when we're dividing, since dividing is an inverse operation, it will be doing the opposite. So our three secret rules, our first one is that when we divide by 10, we're going to be, by 10, we remove 1 0. Okay, so when we divide by 10, we remove 1 0. When we divide by 100, we remove 2 zeros. When we divide by 1,000, we remove 3 zeros. So go ahead and pause the video and write that in your notebook. All right, so let's do a couple examples to show what we mean. So we're going to do a couple with 10, a couple with 100, and a couple with 1,000. So our first example is 90 divided by 10. So if we look up here, it says when we divide by 10, we remove 1 0. So when I divide by 10, I remove 1 0, and it's always from the end. We never remove a 0 from the middle. If it has a 0 in the middle of a number, it's always at the end of that number. So we remove that 0, and our answer is right there. It's whatever is left over. Okay, so our answer is 9 because 90 divided by 10 is 9. All right, so our next example, which is kind of like I said, where we do not remove it from the middle of a number. So here we have 2 zeros, but we always just remove it from the end, never from the middle. Never, never, never. We never touch this one in the middle. It's always at the end that we remove or add. So we're dividing. So we're removing that 1 0, and our answer is what is left over. So our new answer would be 2,304. Okay, let's do one more. We have 43,650 divide by 10. We have divide by 10, so we look back up at our rule, and our rule is we can remove 1 0. Again, it's from the end, not the middle. So we look at the end, we can remove one of those zeros, which is the only 0 there, and we're left with whatever is left. So 4,365. So now we're going to do some hundreds, and our rule is when we divide by 100, we remove 2 zeros. So let's do a couple by 100. So we have 400 divided by 100. Since we're dividing by 100, we can remove 2 zeros, 1, 2, and I'm left with my answer, which is 4. If I have 20,500 divided by 100, since I'm dividing by 100, I can remove 2 zeros. So 1, 2, I'm left with 205. As you can tell, I did not mess with this one because it was not at the end of the number. I messed with these two because it was at the end of the number. All right, now let's do a couple with 1,000. If we look at our rule for 1,000, it says divide by 1,000, we remove 3 zeros. So 124,000 divided by 1,000. I can remove 3 zeros, so 1, 2, 3, and I'm left with 124. Then I have 3,230,000 divided by 1,000. Since I'm dividing by 1,000, I can remove 3 zeros. So I removed 3 zeros from the end, and I'm left with 3,230. So we divide by 10, you can remove 1 zero to get your answer. When we divide by 100, you can remove 2 zeros to get your answer. And when we divide by 1,000, you can remove 3 zeros to get your answer. Now, when we have numbers that are not just simply 10, 100, or 1,000, we have to do what we did when we multiplied and split them up, okay, into a 10, 100, or 1,000. So, if we have 850 divided by 50, we have to remember our steps. Our steps were 1, we break apart, right? Break apart into a 10 or 100 or 1,000. Well, since this is 1 0, it's going to break apart into tens. So 5 times 10 gives me 50. Then I put it in the equation. Here's what's different than the multiplication. In the parentheses, you're now going to have this number and the 10, 100, or 1,000. So 850 divided by 10. And don't forget this number here will go outside the parentheses. Second, you solve inside the parentheses. So 850 divided by 10. You can exit out that 0 or remove that 0. Now you have 85 divided by 5. Now we have to solve that. I'm going to come set it up over here. 85 divided by 5. 5 goes into 8 one time. 5 times 1 is 5. 8 minus 5, 3. Bring down that 5. 5 times what gives me 35? That's 7. So my answer is 17. So 850 divided by 50 is 17. So let's do a couple more of those. We have 2,400 divided by 400. Again, step 1, split into your 10, 100, or 1,000. So since this has 2 zeros, we're going to be splitting it into 100. So 4 times 100. Then in parentheses, we put our 10, 100, or 1,000 with this number, 2,400 divided by 100, since we're division. Then divided by 4, because we still need to divide by 4. Second, step 2 is we divide inside the parentheses. So since I am dividing by 100, I can just exit out those 2 zeros, remove those 2 zeros, and get 24. Then bring down this other division of 4. Now we have 24 divided by 4, which is 6, and that is our answer. Let's do one more with 1,000. So if we have 35,000 divided by 7,000, first we split it into our tens, hundreds, or thousands. Since it has 3 zeros, we're splitting it into 1,000. 7 times 1,000 gives us 7,000. Inside our parentheses goes this number and our 10, hundreds, or thousands. So 35,000 divided by 1,000, and then divided by 7. Second step, do what's inside the parentheses. 35,000 divided by 1,000. I can remove 3 zeros to give me 35. Then divided by 7. Third step is to divide by this. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. So our answer to 35,000 divided by 7,000 is 5. So this is what you're going to be doing today, dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000, and breaking it apart by 10, 100, and 1,000.